welcome to the Canam studio for this session of EdTalks. And we have with us today Alistair Royan from Loyalist College. Hi Alistair.
Hi Ganga.
Alistair, tell us something about Loyalist College. What kind of highlights, where is it located, what kind of programs you offer?
Absolutely. Loyalist College is a government-funded public institution. We have 3 campuses now. We have grown, which is great. We have the main campus in Belleville, which is in Ontario. All these 3 campuses are in Ontario. Belleville campus is main campus. It's a 200-acre, beautifully wooded campus as well. It's about 2 hours from Toronto by road. And second, we have the Toronto campus, which is in Victoria Park. Last but not the least, the latest addition that we have is in Northumberland County. It's called Port Hope campus as well. We have about 60 to 70 plus full-time programs, both a combination of undergrad as well as PG at the main campus, which has got the chunk of the programs. Likewise, we have a lot of PG options in IT and various other streams in, for instance, the Port Hope campus as well as the Toronto campus as well. Yeah.
Okay, since you told us about PG programs, tell us something more in detail about these graduate certificate programs as they're called. How do they benefit students, and what would be the requirement of a student to apply for these programs?
Absolutely, I'll be happy to share that as well. Now we have like a myriad of options when it comes to PG programs. Let's take example of the Toronto campus. We have IT related programs in wireless information technology, most of which are 2-year PG programs. We have it in supply chain, we have it in cloud computing, which is all these programs are designed in such a way that they are in the current, they are in keeping in pace with technology as well. They have a brilliant setup in terms of 2-year PG options with a co-op as well, wherein students get opportunities of what they learn in the classrooms or imbibe in the classrooms to be able to put it into practice in the real world through the co-op opportunities. Most of our programs are designed in such a way. Tracking back when it comes to our main campus, although we don't have a co-op for most of the programs, we do have something called as an unpaid field placement. Again, it gives you the opportunity of getting a hands-on approach of learning in a real world, but only thing you don't get paid for it as the co-op would. So each to its own, they have lovely opportunities for students to basically imbibe what they learn in their classrooms, let it be their skill set, the knowledge, and we give them the opportunity to put it into practice in the real world through these unpaid field placements and co-ops, etc.
Okay, so since you've spoken about co-ops and jobs, so what are the future jobs which are are going to be there in Canada, and how ready is Loyalist to be able to skill students to be able to get into these kind of jobs?
Great question. I mean, we being a public institution, I think we have the opportunity that we get a lot of funding from the government. Quite recently, in October, November 22, we got a $1.8 million funding from the Ontario government, which we basically streamlined this into developing let's say platforms that we have within the college institutions, let it be the practical labs that we have as well, so that students can basically have that approach of learning that could give them these wonderful opportunities in Canada. Speaking about Canada as a country, as everyone's aware, it's the go-to destinations and we're very, very happy to get Canam's support to get students on board, to give them these opportunities. Studying in at Loyalist College, getting the right skill set. Of course, it's a competitive world out there that we live in, but we have a support system in Loyalist as well through career centers, where they provide support for students to sort of help them with their CV to develop in a Canadian manner, their cover letter amended, even in terms of linking them up through career fairs that we organize to meet potential employers as well. So there's maximum support offered, even when on ground through Canam here, which I think we've been working with you guys shy of 10 years now, which is great. It's an impeccable relationship, and we're happy to sort of take it forward to bring students to Loyalist as well.
Absolutely. So what about the industry partners that Loyalist has in order to support this whole future jobs and skills? And
absolutely. I could cite a few examples. For instance, we at Loyalist, speaking about Belleville campus, not far from the campus, we have companies like Nortel, Kellogg's, Procter & Gamble as well, who are within the vicinity of the Bay of Quinte area, and we have tie-up with these sort of big companies wherein we try to sort of invite them on board at the college campus, interact with students, and students can interact with them to look for opportunities as well. So that's something that we work closely. This is just citing a few examples, but we work in conjunction with many other companies as well. Yeah.
Students do ask quite often, what is the difference between a PG diploma and a master's? So would you want to throw some light?
Absolutely. I think this is a very common question that keeps coming up, and I'm happy to sort of address them as well. To be honest, if you look at it, each to its own, they have wonderful opportunities. I wouldn't downgrade one to the other. But if you look at the difference, is PG is more a practical sort of skill set that students can gain. When I spoke about co-op opportunities, when I spoke about unpaid field placement, you have these opportunities. When you look at masters, it's a more research-based learning as well. But each to its own, they have their opportunities. Like I said, this is the main difference between the two. Yeah.
Okay, so in your opinion, how should students choose their programs? And once they've done that and they're going through the study period in Canada, how should they prepare themselves so that they make themselves more employable and are job ready?
Absolutely, great question, by the way. To be honest, in terms of getting those opportunities, firstly, choosing the right program through the guidance of the educational agent, which I think you guys do a wonderful job by providing coherent information with brevity as well, which is very necessary for the student to hear. And the reason why is it helps them sort of decipher as to what is the option that I need to choose correctly. Firstly, when we look at as an institution in a student, there has to be a correlation from what they study to what they intend to study, which is important because it shouldn't sort of go over their head when they arrive in the classrooms there. Yeah. So we ensure that there is a very strong correlation aspect, which really helps them to sort of make that transition in a very smooth manner when they're doing that particular course as well. Speaking about helping them gain opportunities, like I did mention, cited the example of Career Center, which acts as a conduit by helping students to reach out to companies, employers, etc., so that they can grab these opportunities by meeting them. Also sort of providing them support by registering them on various job sites that they can get information. But research is key for students to do from the time they arrive in the college campus. Also in terms of their English language skills, because if you have tons of ideas in your mind and you're not able to communicate them, if you don't have the English language skills, you're not going to get the job even if you're an A+ student. So as an international student, you have to be well-rounded, not just in your studies, but in other facets of your being as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what do you have to say about student accommodation, which is quite in discussion these days? So how is the student manage accommodation in and around Loyalist on the various campuses?
Great, especially when it comes to a main campus. I'll break it down when it comes to the 3 campuses. For the main campus, it's a 200-acre campus. We have on-campus accommodation where we can house about 580 students, either in an apartment-style setting or a residence-style setting. Moving further, when it comes to students who want to live off campus, now we give them a choice whether you want to live on campus or off campus. There's an international team that helps them find sort of off campus accommodations. Likewise, when it comes to our Toronto campus, we have a team that works in conjunction with students to provide them support by reaching out to landlords and landladies who are in the vicinity of the area, that students can get ample accommodation.
Right. So I had this last question for you, though you've been already talking about it, but I'll still repeat it. What's the benefit of a student applying through an authorized consultant of your college, especially like somebody like Canam, who's been in this business for almost 3 decades now?
I think the answer is in your question. You guys have been in this business for 3 decades now. Yeah. The experience that you have, the expertise that you have in the industry is key, because you all know what works for the student, especially finding that right institution which could bring them opportunities in Canada, because it's not all about education alone, it's all about bringing in that personal support, which I really appreciate what Canam does, because you guys are very coherent, clear with the student, and help them to sort of, the journey doesn't begin in Canada, it begins here in India. And you guys are that conduit to help them cross the border into Canada in a peace of mind state and focus on their studies, and also provide them a very clear path ahead as well, which is what we love working with Canam, because we get great students and we're happy to be here day in and day out whenever you guys have these events. So there
Thank
you
you.
go.
I'll hold you to that. So thank you, Alistair. Thank
No
you.
worries.
I'm sure the students will enjoy listening to
It's
all
been a
this.
pleasure being with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.